Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm testing to see if I can read comments through the TV. Hello, everybody. Okay, no, I cannot. So, never mind there. It'd just be weird to look up and see myself. So, not doing that. Hey, everybody. I'm gonna grab all the hardware. Oh, hit the blue chat box. I didn't even see it on the TV. I didn't see it. I don't want to get it back. I'll flip the camera. It'll be okay. Let me grab hardware really quick. I'm making a Bonnie bucket bag. I'm gonna need 3 zipper pulls. Where are my zipper pulls? I'm gonna go ahead and use black nickel hardware. So I need 3 zipper pulls. I need a set of D-rings. I need 2 1-inch snap hooks and another set of 1-inch snap hooks. And I need a slide adjuster and I need a zipper end. And I think that's it. Yes, that seems right. D-rings? Yeah, okay. I was gonna have a nap, but screw that. Hey Cheryl, I'm so sorry. I am behind the camera at the moment. I'm gonna have to flip it around and change some things so that I can actually see comments. I was going to have it from the back of the camera so that you guys could actually see a little bit better, but we're gonna flip it around. So, never mind. So we'll just have it this way. And I need to put my hair up. Okay, and I think I have everything that I need to make this bag all cut and ready to go. Let's see if I can get Hey Carla. Seems oddly zoomed in. Whoa. Crap. There we go. Someone was like, why do you always cut your head off? It's like, I'm not doing it on purpose. Thank you. Isn't it amazing? I love it too, so much. All right, let's get my actual project here in front of me. I'm gonna start out by fusing my Decaville to my exterior. Thank you, Carla. I was actually gonna like pre-film a tutorial. I already have one. Then I was like, it's so boring to film videos. So I was like, I'll just do it live. So hopefully you guys can see this. Okay. And I've had a lot of complaints of people who are like, I can't see what you're ironing, so I'm gonna try and change that as well. Always complain, it helps me do better. All right, so I've got my iron heated up, ready to go. I have my stabilizer here. And then with Decaville Heavy, you don't need steam, you just want to apply even pressure for about 10 seconds. This is a lot easier on a heat press, but I kept forgetting to turn my heat press on. And I really hate to turn it on for just 10 seconds when I can do it with an iron. This is actually leather-backed vinyl from FM Stores. And I love it so much. And I know that it can take a little bit of heat as far as ironing. So I've got that. Diane, I actually use my iPhone it's easier. Oh. Did she update the Bonnie? Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, the Lola, I read what she updated. I haven't downloaded the new one though, because I do already have the templates, and I was like, I don't want to have to buy new templates. Oh, thanks, Joy. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it at this view while I work on the lining, just because you guys have seen me do zipper pockets plenty of times, but so you can see what I'm doing with my iron also. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah, Aslan, that's a good point. I'd be glad you waited for that reason. Okay, so I actually kind of filmed a little tutorial this morning of adding a recessed zipper panel to the Bonnie. I think I talked about doing that at some point or another. Yeah, Inga, I think that's honestly a smart plan to try the new one out also. I'm sure it's great. I trust her with my whole heart. All right, I'm gonna grab some different zipper by the yard. Black nickel and red anywhere? No? No. Oh, the gray would look fine. Black nickel and black? That would look really good. Let's do it. Alright. That's just a little chunk. Alright. Joe, you absolutely get the updated pattern for free if you have the old one. You just go into your account and it should have an updated download link. I know that she does email updates, but sometimes people's emails are weird or it bounces. So the best way to double check that is to go directly to her website, log into your account, and re-download. As always with a live, if I missed your comment, I'm so sorry. Just ask again, they disappear so fast. Desiree, I haven't seen that actually, but I think I would like to, because I do love the alterations that Jessica makes to patterns. I just didn't realize that there were templates, so yeah. Really quick, I'm just cutting my zipper by the yard. I'm cutting 1 to 14 inches for my top zipper, and I'm cutting 2 to about 9 to 10 inches for the zipper pockets. Ooh. Sneakily watching while working. Oh, why did I put that away? I need it to actually put this. Crap. Really failing hard today. There we go. Okay. Don't fall. Not a dumb question. Yes, it will be available. So hardware should have been shipped this week, but there is a Chinese holiday, so it's going to be delayed a little bit. I didn't realize. So oh, thank you, Cindy. So I asked them, like, okay, well, when can I expect it to ship then? So hopefully next week. And I'll have zipper pulls. There's not necessarily anything new coming, just restock of zipper pulls. The Harry Potter zipper pulls are gonna come with my next shipment, so it'll be a few weeks for that. Okay. So I'm gonna start with my lining. I'm gonna add 2 zippered pockets, and we're gonna be working with a recessed zipper panel. So I'm gonna start out by squaring off my zipper. This was a tutorial that Carissa of Needle and Anchor made. I'm gonna be honest, I only saw the pictures, I didn't read anything, but basically what you do is you just, kind of like we do with piping, you just turn your zipper at a 90-degree angle, and then you're just gonna baste sew it in place. I did this in my tutorial for the recessed zipper add-on. It's like it's just a 15-minute little video, and I was like, oh, okay, well it really helps to baste it in place, so I'm gonna keep doing that. It doesn't look pretty with my machine, but it definitely helps. So again, all I'm doing is I'm turning this, making sure they look even, and then baste stitching about 1/8 of an inch from the outer edge in place. Now I can see. Come on. Stay down. There we go. Alrighty. So there's what it looks like after basting in place. Let me just move it around so you can't see it. It's not pretty, but it'll be a lot easier to attach our zipper panels that way. So I'm gonna set it aside for now. I'm gonna work on my 2 zippered pockets. Shout out to Tammy, who cuts all my fabric. She's wonderful and amazing, and I love her so much. I'm currently prepping for a convention in Chicago. It's called Ace Comic Con, and Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, is going to be there. FM stores, how do I find the leather you are using? If you call and ask them for like a black leather back, he'll know exactly what you means. Joe, yeah, whatever you guys want to order. Just keep in mind that I'm not sure what kind of fees would be associated, and then shipping might seem outrageous, but if there's any overages, I do send refunds, so keep that in mind. Hey Kim, hi Natalie, hi Ruby. I'm so sorry again for emailing you so soon. It's so weird that PayPal did that, but anyway. Hello everybody. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Bobbin. Bless you. Okay. Hello, Deborah. Thanks. Hi, Kelly. Kind of going for a tone-on-tone look with the black vinyl and using red top stitching. That is definitely not tone-on-tone, but I meant to say contrast stitching. Great job. Okay, so with the Bonnie, you can kind of see that this piece is tapered. You want to make sure it's shorter on top and wider at the bottom. Oh no, Ruby, yeah, you are fine. PayPal reversed it, so no worries. I'm so sorry again. It was like the first thing I saw when I woke up and I was like, what the heck? Yeah, it was paid for sure. So I kind of just eyeball where to put the zippered pocket, but it's about 2 inches from the top is where that box is. Oh gosh. Can we just take a minute to appreciate that? It is like literally 2 inches. What about this one? Okay, that one's 2.5 inches, but it's fine. And then I'm just cutting this open. PayPal is crazy. So true. I have gold hardware coming by November as well. Super excited about that. So I have this couch in the basement that we call the soft place, and it used to be on the wall facing me directly, but now it's just off to the side, so that I could make room for like 20 more hardware bins, because you guys are buying me out. So I want to make sure that I have enough stock to last a while, so if people need to place larger orders or something, they can. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see. I press it flat and then I just steam it a little bit, and that really helps the canvas stay in place. A video on the Summit bag, I'd have to look at the pattern. So my plan for next year is to do a ton more tutorials. This is my last convention until February, and I really want to have like a large assortment of bags. Yeah, Joe, perfect. So yeah, I want to have a really nice assortment of bags, and I like to film tutorials on them when I do new ones, of course. So hopefully next year I can do a ton and have like a new one once per week or something. That is my goal. Hopefully you guys are okay with that. Watch me like not even get one a month done. That would be my life. Okay, so when you use Zipper by the Yard for your zipper pocket, you want to make sure that the ends extend out past your raw edges. Otherwise, it could start to fray within the bag and then split, and then the zipper is compromised. So I like to center it and make sure it extends past. Hi, Deborah. Welcome. Hopefully there isn't lipstick on my teeth. Hi, Glinda. Once a week sounds awesome, right? Ooh, the Natalie. Yeah, I feel like I miss so many patterns also because I'm like, no, I don't have time to make it. I can't buy any new ones. I want to support all the makers, but I don't. There's not enough time. So I'm just sewing around that zipper. And I don't use double-sided tape or anything at this point to hold it in place, but you could use a glue stick or something like that to keep it from shifting around. Okay, so I'm adding the other side of the zipper pocket now. And for this one, I'm just gonna sew all the way around it and sew it closed. I don't need to leave it open. Okay, so one is done. I'm gonna leave it zipped up closed so that I don't try to burr through it or anything. All right, So now we're ready to add our second zippered pocket. Yeah, I'm not gonna need the iron anymore, so I can slide that out of the way. Move you guys back here. Yeah, cool. And then if you want me to change the view at any point, just yell at me till I do. Okay, doke. So I'm just centering the zipper teeth, holding it, sliding it under. There we go. I don't use a lot of all-purpose or number 3 zippers when I make bags. I like big chunky zippers, so I like to use number 5 zipper tape. And I think the tape I'm using now is from Marie Angeli's zipper shop on Etsy. And she does have a 20% off, is it 20? I think it's 15% off coupon code for us, and it is just so whatever. Not just so whatever, but it's so whatever. In case you need zipper by the yard. And you wanted to support an awesome lady. Just a suggestion. Hey Crystal, we are making the Bonnie Bucket Bag by Swoon Sewing Patterns. This pattern is written, I'm pretty sure, for all cotton. So when I get to the exterior, I'll explain the changes I've made. Okay, so this time I'm leaving the bottom open so we can birth our bag through that hole. The coupon code is so whatever. Honestly, hi from the road, hi Gypsy. Oh, Renoke, I've been there. Hi Grandma. I love you too. Yeah, it's hard to say what is a good seller for me because the bag I make the most is probably the Emily tote. So I would say that is my best seller. Yeah, I just get so tired of making the same bags, so I never know what's a great seller. I know that people like small bags. There is one for Handmade Space, and I think it is the same. Just so whatever. Not just so whatever, but the coupon code is so whatever. We also have one for Barb's Bags, or barbsgotinterfacing.com, and it is capital So, capital W, hat ever. Sorry. Okay. My lining pockets are done. I've got one unzipped so that we can birth through it. I went ahead and folded them in half and clipped the bottom center and the top center. And that'll just help us attach our bottom panel and our zipper panel a little bit better. Sonia, I would absolutely love to do a sewing retreat. I did one with Got Interfacing in North Carolina, and it was so exhausting but so much fun, and I just need the time to plan my own. So I think that's why I haven't done it. Okay, dope. My top panels there. Bonnie is a very quick, for me, bag to sew. And I think that's why I'm making a whole bunch. Well, what I'd like to do is just kind of go on like a sewing tour. So it wouldn't just be one location, it would be maybe like 10. But I'd need like company sponsorship to make something like that happen. And I'd love to be able to provide the machines as well as some materials for you guys so that it's less daunting to travel. I know a lot of people at Barb's they were very prepared, but a lot of people forgot little things. And oh, Sonia, thanks. Yeah, nobody likes to be made to feel stupid. That's not fun for anybody. But yeah, I haven't had a chance. So maybe next year I can focus more on that aspect of traveling. It'd be so fun. I know I would love it too. Jennifer, it is called a Zipper Genie. And I actually have a shrimp fork upstairs that I'm gonna try to use at some point as well. All right, so right now what I'm doing is working on the zipper panel. So actually next year, a friend of mine is planning a trip, and I definitely want to at least plan a sewing meetup. So even if we're not sewing, we can all meet each other. Get some sewing friends overseas. Hello to France. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am applying double-sided tape across the short sides of the zipper panels, and I'm folding it over 1/2 inch. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to line these up right sides together and flip it. So that way I can fold this other side to be even with this one. So that one's not quite the same size, but if you lay them on top of each other, they'll be closer to the same size. What tape did you use? I tried, that's so weird. It is double-sided tape from Wawak.com, WAWAK.com. No coupon code. Not sponsored. All right, so now I'm just cutting them apart, getting that double-sided tape off these pieces. Goodbye. Get out of here. See you later. Okay, taking one lining, one exterior. They do run it on sale. That's true. All right, so I'm lining up my zipper from the top about 1/4 inch. I'm gonna clip that in place. Yeah, 1/4 to 1/8 inch from the top. Yeah, just type in leather tape. If you guys could hit the thumbs up button on if it shows you on the video, I would appreciate it forever. It makes me feel good. And it helps other people see the video too. Thank you guys. Oh, typing DST. Oh no, yeah, leather tape. I know. Yeah, I should probably change that. Okay, so zipper sandwich is exterior fabric face up, zipper face down, and lining face down or wrong side up. And clipping it all together. And about 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then make sure you're not sewing past your exterior fabrics. So stop it before you get to that zipper. Oh, not finding it? Dang. I don't know why it doesn't show the thumbs up button sometimes. All right, so I am pressing it from the lining side only, and then I'm folding the exterior up. And then just folding in my spare threads. And then pressing it with my fingers flat, kind of separating that seam. Okay. Double check, make sure your zipper is fully caught, not coming out of any seam, and top stitch. And then I go around all 4 sides of that box. So now we can repeat on the other side. You want to make sure that your zipper panels are pretty even. Exterior fabric on top. If you're worried about your zipper shifting, you can always baste your zipper into place and then add your lining fabric after. Oops. Hi Linda, thank you. Okay, that looks good. So I'm gonna press it from the lining side. Hello to Brazil. So pressing that upward. Don't iron your vinyl. If you're using woven fabrics to make your zipper panel, I would just add 1 layer of woven fuse to the exterior fabric, and then you could leave your lining uninterfaced unless you want it to be a little bit thicker. But especially if you're using a domestic machine, it can get a little too thick. Oh, you can find it if you minimize the chat. Oh, I don't want to make anybody do that. I am using a size 19 needle. And I'm not using a leather needle or anything like that. It's just a regular old needle. Oops. Make sure you move your zipper out of the way. Okay, so there is the zipper panel completed. I am going to go ahead and add my zipper end now because I want the finished length to be 13 inches. So I'm going to cut my zipper at 13 inches. Grab my tools. So screwdriver, clamps, lighter. Start by fusing the end of your zipper tape. And then fold your zipper tape in half on itself and then fold it over the teeth. And then you're going to repeat that with the other side. And then I just add Wonder Clips. So I folded it in half on itself, and then I'm gonna do this to the other side. I do use bonded nylon and bonded poly on my machine. And right now I'm getting my thread from Sunny Sewing Supplies in Dallas, Texas. You do have to call to order, but they have great prices, especially if you mention that you're in the sewing group or something. Oh. So I do have a video explaining different industrial machines, and I think it's such a hard personal question to answer because it really comes down to what you are sewing. At the time I bought my machine, there was not a lot of info out there for me to kind of look at and decide. And so I was going off of my domestic sewing machine knowledge, and I was like, well, clearly I'm gonna need a walking foot machine because I use so much vinyl. And I have to say, I love my machine. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So I can't answer your question. Next question. Okay, I'm pushing this zipper end on there, kind of wiggling it around to get the tape to go as far in as possible. Seems pretty good. So I'm gonna get my little screw here. And then screw it in place. And then I like to pull on it slightly to make sure it's not going to come off. Because you'd rather know now if it's going to come off at all. Okay, so then the very last step is going to be to fold the zipper panel in half on itself. So don't measure this part of the zipper, just fabric to fabric, and make center snips on each side. And then I'm going to grab my 2 lining panels. Hey Trish! How you doing? Absolutely would be willing to travel. Oh, hi. Aw. Yeah, 16 and 18 needles work on the Juki, absolutely. Good being lazy. Thank you so much. Okay, so center snip on the top of my lining, meet center snip on the top of my zipper panel. So lining those up. The zipper panel is facing up on the right side of your lining. And then we're gonna add, well, you can base this in place if you want, but I'm gonna go ahead and add the top lining panel. Oh, thank you. It is such an awesome group. I agree. And I still learn tons from everyone in it as well. Okay, clips there. 1/2 inch seam allowance. Sewing straight through it. I'm gonna fold this top up and top stitch on the vinyl. Ooh, I did not get the Buckle Me Up bag. So there's how that looks. And right now it looks like there's a lot of space on the sides, but this is a round bag, so it's gonna cover it. So we'll just repeat that step. Right sides together. And we actually have about 30 minutes left of this bag, I'd say. The lining is pretty time consuming. Exterior, well, I mean, none of it really takes forever. It's all pretty quick. You just have to be careful with your pattern pieces not to mess them up. Whoa. top stitching is going to be a doozy. I also have an idea to kind of speed film myself sewing and then have CJ do like a tutorial over top of it. So it's like my husband voices over my makeup tutorial, except it's with sewing. So I thought that would be kind of funny. It would just be like a 15-20 minute video, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. Hi Amanda, I'm good, right? Wouldn't that be hilarious? I have to get him to agree to it though. Just like my husband films my tutorial or voices over my sewing tutorial. Okay, so now right sides together with my lining fabrics. And then a 1/2 inch seam allowance, stitch length of 4. Oh, I was looking for another piece. I don't need another piece. I've got it all I need right here. Put it together. Hi, Cecilia. Oh, thank you, Karina. Okay, so bottom panel here, I'm going to fold in half and mark snips. And then I'm going to fold it in half again, the opposite direction, and mark snips. So we're just marking out the quarters of the bottom of this bag. I feel like at this point I just know, and then also it's like the screws on my machine are 1/2 inch, so it's an eyeballing, but it's like an educated guess. Okay, so then marking the centers, I'm gonna clip those first. And I am going to birth this bag through the zipper pocket. I did this earlier with these same materials and it wasn't thick enough that I needed to leave the bottom opening. So just going for it. Together. At this point you can unzip your zipper all the way, so it's a little bit easier to go into the bottom. I'm just going to use a bunch of clips. I promise you, just sew bags. Yeah, I do make it look easy, but I wish I had some videos of me before I was good at making bags. Add it to the list. Yeah, they're easy and quick, you know. Okay, so got the bottom clipped all together. If you want to, you can staple the lining to help keep it in place. I usually just say whatever for this part. Hey, Charisse. And just kind of go slow. I do, however, clip the exterior because things can shift a little bit more. So I'm gonna start at the bottom and just take it like a few clips at a time and then readjust, especially on the side panel, or when you get to the sides, I mean. So just slowly massaging those curves together. And then rearranging. And then we got a straight part. It's a little curved here. Also, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who ordered fabric this morning. I did release new fabric designs today. Pretty much every month from here on out, the first of the month, I'm gonna have fabrics in stock, new prints. They may be existing prints that sold out, etc., but I do still have a bunch available if you guys need some fabric. Some fun original fabrics. Slowly adjusting. There we go. So bottom isn't too bad. Did I mess up there? Oh, never mind. I messed up big time right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna snip that stitch out a few. Okay, so I just seam rip a few and then re-pinch it out. I'm actually, this seam here got folded over on itself, and the lining, or this side of the bag doesn't really sit nicely if that isn't butterfly stitched, or butterflies, if it isn't open on itself. So it's better if you have that side seam open. So I'm just going to clip these together, trim my bobbin thread. Okay. So this time I can sew it from the top, so this big is down on the table. And I'm going to start a little ways past where I messed up, and I'm going to backstitch. And then I'm going to join with my existing stitch line, and then I'm going to backstitch where the mess up started, and then try to do better this time. And then I like to backstitch within the seam allowance, just like we did when we started. So it's not pretty from the interior, but it'll look fine from the right side of the bag. I really like my new drawer setup, so I switched from that really big one to a smaller one, and it's fine. I don't have any complaints about it. It's nice that it's less cluttered. So far, I haven't needed anything that isn't here, if that makes sense. So I haven't been like, crap, where is this thing I'm looking for? So that's nice. All right, so that is our lining finished. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push this right side out. And this gives us a chance to check that bottom seam, make sure it looks good. My chair is very comfy for long periods of sewing. Oh, you can't see the title. It's called Techni Sport, and it's actually a gamer's chair. So I feel like if it's meant for a gamer to sit in for hours on end, it's meant for me to sit in. So here's our lining. Looks pretty good. Set that aside, and now I can work on the exterior, which is the fun part. It's all fun though, right? All right, so Bonnie has a very interesting way of attaching the main panels. I love the way it looks. Some people don't. If you aren't a fan of this, what you can do is you can trace the width of the lining, essentially, but like the sides of the main panel, which doesn't make sense. Or you can just fold it by 1/2 inch. Fold your main panel by 1/2 inch on that seam and then just cut it as one piece on the fold. But keep in mind there is this curved shape here. We want to line those up. It's a very subtle curve, but then the bottom is straight. So the subtle curve is the top of the bag. I am using linen cotton canvas fabric from Spoonflower as well as leather-backed vinyl. So I've interfaced this with 2 layers of woven interfacing, woven fuse, so that it stands up on its own without being Decaville light heavy, you know. Maybe you don't. And then 1/2 inch seam allowance, back stitch, and forward. And then you're gonna do the same thing with the other side. If you've cut your pieces wrong, you will know when you put them together, because they should mirror each other. So what I like to do is cut, well, it really depends on what you want the finished bag to look like. I'll get into it in a minute. Hold on. Get this together. Oh, have fun. Oh, Charisse, yeah. I think the car trash bags and clutches is a great idea. Some small items for people to purchase. Okay, so when I open up my fabric, here's what it looks like. And so the way I've cut these is on the fold, essentially, so that they're mirrored. And then when I put it together, 1/2 of my bag is fabric, 1/2 of my bag is vinyl. But if you cut your pieces, so let's say you're doing 2 fabric pieces and you want them to be like on opposite sides, so your bag looks like this essentially when it's done, then you want to cut them the same way. You don't want to mirror it. You want to cut them the same, and then you'll flip it over and cut your contrasting fabric the same. So hopefully that makes sense. If you want it to look like this, you're gonna cut your contrasting fabric the same way and then flip it for your other fabric. But if you want your bag to be 1/2 vinyl, 1/2 fabric like that, then you're going to mirror each side. I don't think that makes sense. I'm confused, but it makes sense in my head. Do you guys get that? Do you get it? Am I Bueller? Anyway. Maybe I'll do a cutting and interfacing. Okay, good. Hey, Jennifer. Okay, cool. Okay, we get ya. You can stop explaining it now. All right, so I'm gonna switch my stitch length to 4.5. I'm gonna open this seam and I'm going to top stitch on each side. I feel like that's one of the more complicated things about Bonnie, is trying to, yeah, if you cut them right sides together, it will be mirrored. Yeah, that's how I cut these out. So I'm just flattening that seam and top stitching. Going across the top. Make sure your seam stays flat. And then back down the other side. so there is the contrasting top stitch. So on the back side, you can use double-sided tape if you want. This is Convention Prep. So I'm flattening out that seam. And top stitching. Oops. Okay, and then you do not have to add the accent fabric along the bottom if you do not want to. Actually, I just have one more show until C2E2 in Chicago in February, and that is Ace Comic Con in Chicago in next week. Is it next weekend? Maybe. Probably. No, this is my own fabric. It's Spider-Man. I used 4.5 stitch length, but you could also use a 5 stitch length if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab other pieces. I should have done my straps first, but whatever. Okay, so you do not have to add your bottom accent fabric if you don't want to, but I am going to. This is also a tapered piece. It's a little bit shorter at the top. So take note, it's not a big deal if you mess this part up. Okay. So a 1/2 inch piece of tape at the top. Okay. Tapered at the top. The company name for the buckle bag is Sorry I Can't, I'm Sewing. Looks like a really cute bag. Okay, so I'm folding over the top edge. So now make sure you're keeping in mind where the curve of your bag is. If you need to, you can mark it with little arrows or clips or something. But this gets laid across the bottom of the bag. I'm just gonna go ahead and clip this in place. You don't need double-sided tape or anything. At least, I don't think so. So that gets sewn to the bottom. Okay, there's that. So now we just repeat that with the other side. Oh, keep in mind the top curve goes to the top. Okay, it's lined up there. I think I have, yeah, 2 other Bonnie bucket bags to make. I'm making a Firefly one and a Golden Girls one. I'm really excited for the Golden Girls. A very who's on first moment. That's hilarious. Okay. So now I could tell something had shifted, but it looks okay. So my sewing back here was a little messed up. It doesn't look too weird from the front. I don't think anyone would notice, but I'm definitely not gonna add my nameplate there. Black nickel. Okay, grabbing one of my nameplates. Thank you, Judy. Me too. Okay, so I'm just measuring from the back side along the lower bottom panel. Just centering it out, marking where it goes. And seam ripping through all those layers. So crazy how easy it is with a new blade after 5 years. Okay. There's that. And I get my new nameplates from my hardware supplier, so I'm not giving the name. Plus it's extremely expensive. The mold fee alone was like $200, I want to say. I was like, whatever. Okay, let's do it. They're so pretty. I do have a video explaining where I've gotten nameplates in the past also. Okay, so now I'm laying the fabrics right sides together. So the way I cut my bag, it is half vinyl, half exterior, which I already said like 4 times. Okay, sewing it at a 4 stitch length, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Mine definitely shouldn't have lasted that long. Okay. So if you want to trim down your side seam allowance, you can. I don't want to, so I'm not going to. And then I need 2 D-rings or 2 triangle buckles, but because I like to add a shoulder strap and a crossbody strap, I'm going to use D-rings. I'm gonna add a piece of double-sided tape down the center. I am differing my construction on this bag from the pattern at this point. I'm also not adding that slip pocket, that welt pocket to the outside. I am not a fan of the way it's put together. Especially with vinyl, it gets really bulky, so I'm skipping it. So double-sided tape down the center, folding in the long raw edges. And then you can top stitch them. And now I will cut them apart. More double-sided tape. Tape it about an inch from the bottom. Slide your D-ring in. I cut these pieces to 2 inches by 4 inches. And then I fold the top down and the bottom up. And then since this is on the side seam, you're not able to rivet unless you rivet next to the side seam, because if you rivet through the side seam, you're compromising the structure of your bag. And you don't want to do that. Don't do it. You won't like it. Okay. So now if you want to, you can flip your bag right side out. I don't know that it's really easier to do that. So I just kind of move one side out of the way. Open up your side seam, lay it flat, kind of massage it like you did the center seam, and then 1.5 inches from the top is where I like to set this down. I think I missed the trash can. So just centering it over that ruler, 1.5 inches from the top. Make sure your side seam is laying flat. And then I'm going to sew a box stitch to attach this. I'm using this scrap piece of vinyl to protect the vinyl from scuffing up my hardware, to keep the back of my foot from scuffing up the vinyl or my hardware. There we go. And then I'm sewing diagonally across. And then you could sew diagonally across from both directions if you wanted to. I just like to do the one. Still sturdy. And then thread zap your thread. So there's what it looks like from the back side. And there it is from the front. And repeat. So I'm going to press this side seam open. You could use an iron too. Inch and a half from the top. Thank you. It does look pretty awesome. And using a contrasting thread is a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes, because it's like, oh, if I mess up, you can really see that. Okay, so now we're ready to add the bottom panel of the bag. I do not have faux leather on my website. I used to sell metallic vinyl, but There just isn't enough time in the day. If you are referring to the very annoying noise, it is my AC unit. I hate it. The AC is right outside my window here. I'd really love to move my sewing machine, but there's nowhere else that it would work as well, so I try to turn it off sometimes. Hello to El Paso. Okay, so now we're lining up our center marks so I can see where I've sewn this together. That is one of my center marks. Oh, you have thunder. No thunder here. Center mark. And then you want to open this side seam as well. Line that up with the center. I think one thing I'm going to work on soon, and I don't know if I'll do videos or what, is making the How You Doin' bowler bag into, oh yeah, you know it well, and make it into a square bottom bag, as well as doing that with the Deedlebug mini backpack. Not that there is anything wrong with the way the patterns are written as far as the bottoms, but for production sewing, and if you're not great at sewing on round bottoms, they are very difficult. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, they don't have to be round. There's a way to do it. So I'm gonna be playing around with that very soon. Okay, so I'm clipping the bottom panel in first, and then I'm going to add staples. 90s. Crazy. All right. Round bottom stapled. Like crossbody bags? So I'm just stapling really close to the outer edge all over, because why not? And then we can sew it together. I'm using a stitch length of 4 to attach the bottom panel. And then you're sewing right next to, but not through, the stabilizer. And then when you get to that side seam, you want to make sure it is laying open. Otherwise, your sides sit a little funny. So now you can carefully remove the staples if you need to. I'm just going to cut them out. Yeah, I do. I like this chair a lot. I bought it in person at C2E2, mostly based on the color. Goodbye. See you later. Okay. Now we're ready to put the exterior and lining together. Still have to do my straps. I should have done that, but oh well. I'll need all those clips. Oh, I am wearing Modern Renaissance from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Do I like pink? Maybe. Ooh, thank you. Okay, so right sides together. Opening up those side seams so they lay flat together. Sometimes I'll add a clip on either side, and then I just kind of pull at the edges to make sure that it fits together nicely. There's no odd puckering or anything like that. So honestly, the only stabilizers that I've used is Woven Fuse, 2 layers on the woven or the cotton fabric accents, and then 1 layer of Decaville Heavy for the bottom. And if you wanted to add 2 layers of Decaville Heavy for a really, really thick bottom, you could do that. But this bag is meant to be a little bit more slouchy. You can see that the waterproof canvas really helps shape the bag so that you don't have to add any extra. Ooh, yeah, Kira. I really do like Anastasia Beverly Hills. I think their eyeshadows are expensive, but they do work well. And I love their palettes, and it's fun to play with. So what you want to do when your linings don't quite match up is try again. No, I'm just kidding. So if you are putting your exterior into your lining, it's not going to match up as easily because you have to, you know, your lining should be a tiny, tiny bit smaller. So you want to make sure that you put your lining into your exterior and see if that helps. And would you find that your lining is too, yes, build up all the points. I love Ulta. Do you find that your lining is too big or too small? Jacqueline, yeah, I do. I like ColourPop eyeshadows, but I find that they don't work as well, but they're still great. Okay, so if your linings feel like they're a little bit too big, you want to increase your seam allowance just a little bit then when you're sewing the lining together. So maybe start the same. I mean, honestly, too big is a good problem to have though, because you can always make it a little bit smaller and just try and keep an eye on how your seam allowances are when putting it together. I'm just sewing along the top edge of the bag. Oh, man, bobbin got me. I was literally just thinking like, come on, bobbin, don't fail me. I know you're low, but don't fail me. At least it's not top stitching. Okay. Go away. So now we're ready to birth the bag. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna pull my lining. You can also add purse feet if you want to. I didn't want to. My Decaville is coming loose a little bit. So I'm gonna try to heat it back. Well, if I heat it back on the bag now, it's not gonna fuse as well. This is why I need to just use my heat press. Whatever. I'll try harder later. Okay. Make sure my zipper pocket is fully opened. I'm gonna grab the bottom lining of the bag first. Pull that through. You can kind of bring your exterior back out. Go ahead and check all of your seams at this point. Make sure everything is sitting nicely. Spare thread here. 2319. Okay. So now we can sew up this lining panel, or this zipper pocket. You can add a fun woven tag to the bag. I'm just gonna put my more me now tag. Just like giving birth, that's so true. I mean, I wouldn't know personally, but I do, I get that momnesia aspect of it. So now what you want to do is just kind of massage the top seam and clip around. Push your lining in a little bit better. Yeah, this bag looks sick. I love it so much. And this is Spider-Man fabric that I designed. Martha, that's a good question. I mean, I trimmed the seam allowance on the bottom of the bag, so I guess I didn't feel a need to clip the curves. But you absolutely could if you wanted to. Looks awesome. Thank you. Yeah, this looks really cool. I love it. And then I charge $95 for this bag. They don't take much interfacing. They don't really take a ton of time. This has taken 86 minutes, it looks like, and that's not too bad. And then normally I would charge like $70, but I added the zipper panel and then the bottom accent fabric. So it really just depends on the options. Oh no, you can actually hit like smaller in Spoonflower. I don't design my fabrics directly in Spoonflower. What I do is I design them in Photoshop first, and then I'll kind of make it so that I know what bags get what in a way. Okay, so I'm gonna work on these straps just really quick. I'm making a crossbody strap and a shoulder strap that are both detachable so that, you know, it can be worn multiple ways. So, clipping. So I made this strap, well, I made it, Tammy cut it out, 24 inches by 4 inches. Whoops, stay down. Stay down. There we go. And fold the long raw edge into the center. Sew down one side, back up the other. Stitch length of 5. Cutting the excess ends of the strap. Goodbye. Goodbye. There we go. And then you could just attach this directly to your bag, but I'm going to use snap hooks. Adds a little bit of height and drama to the bag. I don't know, it just makes it seem like fancier and chunkier with all the hardware. Okay, so I'm gonna sew just across the top and kind of connect my side stitches. You could sew like a box stitch or something, but this is mostly decorative, and then I'm gonna add a rivet. I mean, it's not just decorative, it is holding the strap together. And then I'm gonna do that on the other side, so I'm just sewing from top stitch to top stitch and then back stitch. And then I'm going to singe those threads. So there's what that looks like when you just sew from top stitch to top stitch. And then I'm going to rivet that. So I'm going to slowly turn you here. Nope, trash can's in the way. There we go. Presses. So I just need 2 black nickel rivets. And push the rivet through. Place the cap on top. And then set the rivets. So then we've added our rivets. Oh wow, I haven't even top stitched. Sidetracked much? I think so. So now I'm going to top stitch. Stitch length 4.5 or 5, and then just right along the top of the bag. If you need to rearrange, make sure you keep your needle down. I think I need to oil my machine. It's sounding rough. It is not vinyl. Oh yeah, it's called a thread zap. It's awesome. It's my favorite. There are, oh, not on this one yet, but there are usually like affiliate links and coupon codes and stuff in the descriptions of videos. If not, you can comment and be like, hey, it's not here, and I'll add it. So there's what the top of the bag looks like. And then crossbody strap. Got a jet, have fun with whatever it is you're doing. Alrighty, so I've got my iron on to finish this bag with a crossbody strap that's adjustable. So it's a 4-inch wide piece of fabric that is 52 inches long. I'm folding one end under by about 1/2 inch and then ironing it in half. Folding over the other edge, about 1/2 inch. And then fold those long sides into the center. I like to use lots of steam because it makes it hold faster. Cheryl, that's so fun. Oh no, Judy, I hope everything's okay. Empress, that's so fun. And for this bag, I used a leather-backed vinyl, so it's a little bit different than real leather. And I know that it's not made with leather, it just has that like texture, I guess. Okay. So I'm gonna fold the fabric on itself. And I like to sew through the side that is not folded. So this is just fabric folded, and then these are the raw ends folded in, so I start on that side. I'm also gonna add a little bit of oil. All right, let's see if that starts to sound any better. Nope. Okay. So we'll add it inside. I have not worked with white or with waxed canvas. The chair is Technisport. Takes a minute for the oil to kind of soak through the machine, but might just be my bobbin. Okay. Oh, this strap looks so cool. All right, so we're sliding one end through and then back through over that center bar. And then I'm going to add 2 parallel stitch lines. And if your tension on your machine isn't like just right, it's possible that your stitches won't look great if you're using a contrasting fabric on the bottom and the top. All right, so I slid my slide adjuster on, my other snap hook, moving my fabric through, and then keeping my fabric wrong side up, folding it over top and top stitching it. Then I make a box stitch. Could be time for a new needle too. And for this box stitch, I do so from corner to corner. And snip my threads. And that's it. This bag is now officially finished. I love the way it looks. I think the size of the Bonnie is really fun. I love it with a recessed zipper. A snap, anything could fall out, unfortunately, but with this recessed zipper, the only thing that's really gonna fall out is like little pens and stuff when held upside down. And yeah, so if you guys want, not if you want, but if you're going to watch the video that I made when I post it, it'll have all the exact measurements that you'll need for that. So yeah, there's the Bonnie bucket bag, all finished. I freaking love it. And I hope that someone at Ace also loves it and wants to spend $95 on it. It's so cute. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I have to make 2 more of these today and pack hardware and fabric orders, which is exciting and I love it. So yeah, I love it with the recessed zipper too. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you later. Bye.